Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, and today I would like to welcome in Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Jeff Driskel. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you on. I've been a lifelong Bengal fan, and it's frustrating sometimes, but I think with this season, I think there has to be a lot of hope going into the year.
I know from within the organization, we are really excited about this season. From everything from the new staff to the guys that we have in the locker room, we just feel like we have a good mix of guys, and we feel like we can really build something, and we're just really excited to get back for training camp here next week.
All right, so with Coach Taylor coming in, what do you think the adjustment, or how big will the adjustment be switching offenses?
Yeah, I think most of these guys that are learning the new system have learned new systems before, so they know how to do it. They know how how to study and things like that. So I think we have the right guys that are willing to put in the time to learn it, and we also trust Coach Taylor that he's going to put us in a position to succeed. And it's been a blast learning it. The way that the new staff teaches is just really fun. So it's just a great learning environment. And, we're just looking to going back and implementing what we learned in the spring and really getting out there and competing during the summer and, putting our best foot forward and get ready for the season because, I think we have a good team and we're just really excited to get back to it.
All right, so last year when Andy Dalton goes down, you step in, you're the starting quarterback, and you had to do that without one of your main weapons, A.J. Green. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you learned in that process and just the difference from – because you see a lot of guys that read a lot into preseason football, and it's really not the same as regular season football. Do you want to just talk about the adjustment period for you when you took over there?
Yeah, that's definitely a fair thing to say. Preseason ball is a lot different than going out there and starting a game. Every week in the NFL is different. You have a different game plan. You're going against a different defense who's, they're switching things up as well. So, it's a lot more than just going out there and running plays like maybe you're doing in the preseason. And it was just something new to me, not just during the game, but also during the week. Some of your, time commitments that you might not have had to do before. Now you have to do media. Now you have to, talk to these people and, show up for this event or something like that along those lines. And also getting the reps during practice and the dialogue back and forth between the coordinator. It's just something, it was something new. It was something that I'd been watching Andy do, but until you've done it, it's kind of something that, it's just foreign, but having that experience going into this year, I think it's going to help me in my career. And next time that my name's called and I'm out there, it's not the first time that I've done it before. So again, I think it's just going to help me a lot.
Yeah, and I would assume I've met Andy once, and I've seen what he's done in the city. He seems like a guy that probably did everything he could to help you out in that situation too.
You're right on. Andy is the ultimate teammate. He was there the whole time. There would be some guys who would kind of check out and worry kind of about themselves and their rehab and what they can do for themselves rather than what they can do for somebody else. But not him. He's the ultimate teammate, and he's somebody that I really respect and somebody that I really look up to, not just on the field but also the way he handles himself. So he's a great resource, a great teammate, and a great friend.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've interviewed a lot of quarterbacks that were backups at one point that played under guys that were really good, and they didn't get that kind of help. So I would think that sets a good example. You got Ryan Finley coming in, which I would assume with your mentality and from the things that happened with you in the past, that probably doesn't faze you or worry you at all. So I would think that quarterback room is actually a great place to be right now with everybody just kind of being on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. I said it from day one that, once the second that they're drafted or the second they sign with the Bengals, they're my teammates. And, I'll do whatever I can to help them out in any way. And I kind of told him that, hey, I'm here to compete. I'm here to play ball, but if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to ask. Because that's what I want to be. I want to be that presence that can help guys along and help other guys get better as well. So, and seeing Andy do it these last, 3 years has really helped me kind of step into that role maybe for him.
Yeah, and I think Andy's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, I think you're right. Watching him every day, he does not get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, and there was offensive line issues. You guys signed Jonah Williams, drafted Jonah Williams. Then he goes down right away. Clint Bowling retires the other day. What's the outlook, in your opinion, for the offensive line?
Well, I think we got a really good group up front. Obviously, losing two guys like that is huge, but at the same time, I think we have depth. We have guys that have played before. So it's something that is not always the easiest situation, but I think that we're in a position that we can overcome that adversity and be able to bounce back. Because, at the end of the day, football is a game of, man down, man up, and, I think we have the guys that can respond to that.
Yeah, and what's your mentality? Because you went to the San Francisco 49ers, you got cut there. You had, and we talked about it before, but a really good preseason a couple of years ago. Then you get hurt, you're out for the season. What is the biggest thing to me for a quarterback is the mental aspect of the game more than anything else. Do you want to talk how you kind of got through those trials and tribulations?
Yeah, if you look at across the NFL, I would say, at least half, if not more, have gotten cut before. So it's not something that's unique to myself getting cut. That happens, and it wasn't something that I was going to let, kind of end my career before it got started. And, I kind of knew that going in, that, there's going to be ups and downs. And, luckily enough for me, the Bengals claimed me, and I've been so happy that I've gone there because it's a great organization, great people around. And so that was obviously the first hard time. But, in the NFL, like I just mentioned, there's ups and downs. There's good times, bad times. There's injuries. You just have to be able to respond from that and be mentally tough. So, it's a game of waves, and, I just try to stay even keel as much as possible.
All right, we have a couple questions before we go from people on Twitter, Bengals fans, if that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, question number one comes from Jake in Fairfield. He wants to know what your opinion on John Ross is and if he's improving, because this question here is they don't think that they were necessarily using John right the last couple of years. I just want to know if you think that this is where John Ross could possibly have a breakout season.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say John is one of the easiest people to root for. He's an awesome dude, always has a lot of energy. He's just easy to be around. So I always, pull for him. But also I think this spring he's looked awesome out there. He looks fast. He looks sharp. He's catching the ball really well. So, I think this year he has an opportunity to have a lot of production, and I'm pulling for him, and I think he will.
All right, the other question is from Bob in New Miami. He says, people keep forgetting about Gio Bernard. Despite the Bengals drafting Williams and Anderson, Bernard is easily the team's second best running back. Do you think we'll see the Gio of a few years ago this year?
Yeah, if you look at last year, Gio ended up with a captain's patch on his jersey, and that just speaks volumes to what people within the organization think about him. So, I think that he's definitely somebody where you have a bunch of plays designed just for him. You want to get him the ball as much as possible, and he's a guy that can produce for sure. He's explosive. He's great in the run game, pass game, catching the ball and in production. So I think he's a total back and a guy that's going to have a solid year.
Yeah, and I would think with the draft, with the running backs like Travion Williams, Rodney Anderson, the guys you've already got there, and then at wide receiver, and as we talked about the quarterback room, I think this team's just going to be better just because of the competition.
Yeah, I think competition, pushes everybody forward. It brings the best. If you have the right mindset, it brings out the best in guys, and I think we have those guys. So I'm looking forward, personally to getting out there and competing and, putting my best foot forward this summer and going into the season.
All right, Jeff. It's been great talking to you today. Hopefully we can talk to you when you get that extra week between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's right. Love that. So thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jeff. That was Jeff Driskel from the Cincinnati Bengals, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. I want to remind you can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Jeff Driskel, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak. Hey, Jeff.